each of you are aware, the only individual at this point in time that is in custody and that has been arrested as far as her participation in the escape is Joyce Mitchell. Joyce Mitchell is presently at the Rensselaer County Jail, and I would ask Sheriff Favreau to address you relative to her incarceration at this point in time and what the status is of that.
Thank you. As you look around, I've recognized many of the faces, and I'm sure on my cell phone and on my text messaging I have most, if not all, of your numbers in there. So as you can see by the volume of people that are here from the media today, take this volume and move this to the jail location, which has one road coming in and one road coming out. Just because of this massive manhunt and this escape, the business of the city police, the state police, Border Patrol, Customs, and the Clinton County Sheriff's Department does not stop. We have to continue our operations. We have to run a safe, secure facility. It makes it very difficult to near impossible to be able to do that when we're inundated with telephone calls, cameras, truck equipment, etc. Therefore, we had to move her, which we can under Corrections Law 504 with a substitute jail order, down to Rensselaer County. I want to publicly thank my colleagues down there. They've been very cooperative and very helpful, getting us information, anything that we need to assist with the transport and assist with the incarceration. To dovetail an awful lot with what my colleagues have said with the change in the scope of the search, with the type of search that we're doing, although this was called by the district attorney and everybody, you're referring to it as a press conference, I personally would like to refer to it as a pep rally. I think we need to let the community know that since we don't have concrete leads indicating that they may be outside the area, we still need to stay motivated. We still need the assistance of the eyes and the ears giving us your information. As I've stated before, and a lot of my colleagues have, individuals know their property better than we ever could. So take a look at your surroundings. If something does not look right, something is out of place, it doesn't appear to be appropriate, there's tracks where there shouldn't be tracks, please notify the local authorities, let them know that information as expeditiously as possible so one of the agencies can follow up on it. That's going to be our biggest key to success, is keeping everybody motivated and keeping everybody alert and looking. Thank you.
That concludes the at least the initial statements that each of us will make at this point in time, and now we'd open basically the floor up to questioning. And what I'd ask is that we try to do this in a manner in which we can, one, hear your questions, two, address those with each of you, and we're not going to spend an hour out here doing this. We'll take this for a few minutes, probably up to 10 questions or so, and we'll try to deal with it in that way. Stuart?
Can you tell us the number of personnel that will be involved in total, and if you have any idea about the direction of travel from the prison these guys might have?
Okay, I'll turn that over to the Major.
Presently on the ground we have in excess of 600 law enforcement officers working the scene. Direction of travel, since we've closed the perimeter box after thoroughly sweeping that area, our intention is to look at the viable high-speed avenues of egress from Dannemora prison facility into points on all cardinal directions. We're not ruling anything out. We're not taking anything for granted.
Major, is there any plans to arrest Lionel Mitchell at this time?
I will not comment on a pending investigation or pending arrest.
A question for Captain LaFountain, if I may. Hi, Captain. Anna Warner with CBS News.
Yes.
Given that you're now having to look elsewhere, do you feel like there was any miscalculation in spending so much time searching so close to the prison?
Absolutely not. We have to start from the 0.0, which was the Dannemora prison, and we expanded. It's based on information that we obtained, throughout or during the initial stages of the investigation. We have to exhaust that. As I said, there is no hard evidence that they are outside the area. That being said, I cannot rule that out, but we're going under what I think is the logical belief they can be anywhere. We're not going to rule this area out until we have identified a location that they're at and verified that.
So no hunch right now as to where they are?
I don't operate based on hunches. We operate based on evidence, and that's what we're looking for.
Are law enforcement looking
We are looking at surveillance video. I can tell you this, there is no technique or law enforcement tool that is not being used by the state police or by our federal agencies. Any avenue that needs to be pursued will be pursued. We're doing it in a joint and coordinated fashion and effort. We're reviewing every piece of evidence that we possibly can.
It's been 12 days since all this began. I think many people hope for a quick resolution. The fact that it's approaching 2 weeks and there's been no capture of these escapees has made some people wondering how efficient this process has been. Can you talk about that? Is it unfair to expect a quick resolution? And how can you guarantee that these gentlemen are going to be arrested eventually?
It is my belief, my very strong belief, that each and every one of these members of law enforcement that are out, have been working since Saturday morning on this case, are putting in every effort that they can. We're talking about two men who have been very elusive. They came up with a very elaborate and creative plan to escape from one of the most secured facilities in New York State, if not in the United States. And so that is what we are defending right now. And as far as the efforts of each and every one of these law enforcement officers, you cannot discredit that in one single bit. I fully support the efforts that they have. As Captain LaFountain just indicated, and the Major has talked about, we had a massive perimeter search in an area that we had information that these two men could have been at, and we haven't totally exhausted that, but we need to open this up, as the Major and the Captain have indicated. So.
Is it unfair, though, to expect a quick resolution to this? Can you prepare the public for this to be a very long, weeks, months type search?
Sir, they may be located today. We don't know that. We may get that lead today that will allow us to pursue that that arrest. I'll leave any further comments to the Major, though.
The question was it a waste of time, or did we delay the investigators' effort? It's an emphatic no. Captain LaFountain answered that, but I can tell you that the state police and all the men and women of these agencies you see behind me are capable of doing more than one thing at a time.
Major, we spoke to your residents who were scared, frightened, who were concerned that these individuals haven't been captured. It seems like little progress has been made. How do you comfort them?
We comfort them with the appearance of the assets behind us and a consistent message that we're doggedly pursuing every lead. We're on the ground, having a visible police presence, and that we are there in the community. Even though the roadblocks and perimeter no longer exist, we have quadrupled the number of roving patrols. There is still a very strong presence in this region.
They feel safe in their country homes and their hunting camps up in the woods.
Obviously, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of hunting camps and homes in this region. We've gone door to door on a good portion of those, and we've used certain techniques to advise the homeowners that we have checked their property. And if they haven't been there yet this season, we've asked them upon arrival to let us know that. And if there are any questions, or if they need us to even come to the scene before they make first entry, we're willing to do that to assure their safety.
Are these men receiving help besides Joyce Mitchell?
I'm sorry?
Are these men receiving help besides Joyce Mitchell now that they are on the outside? Have you developed any information that they may have additional outside help?
We're looking at everything, outside and inside the facility. And I cannot comment beyond that because that would affect our confidential investigation.
Are you scaling back the numbers of officers who are out there searching? At one point you had 800 or more. Are there fewer out there, and if so, why?
That's a great question. It's roughly 200 less. The reason for that is simple. Since we're no longer containing a hard perimeter, we wanted to release those individuals back to their facilities. Typically, they come from our Department of Corrections and Community Services. So they can go back, refit, and prepare for the next move. The next move may be that we harden up a perimeter someplace and they're immediately deployed. I will assure you that we retain the number of tactical, canine, aviation, and ground search elements to close in rapidly on any location, given the proper lead from our investigators.
How much longer can you do that?
Talk about Joyce Mitchell's state when she was
Well,
in jail, and was she on suicide?
let me just answer this gentleman's question first. We'll do that as long as it takes. Sure.
She's rather composed, given the gravity of what's going on throughout the county. She watches the media, she sees what's happening, so of course, that can have an effect on somebody. The term suicide watch hasn't been used in the facility. We do direct supervision. We put one officer directly on an inmate like this because of everything that's going on. It's human nature that it could have multiple impacts on somebody, both emotionally and physically, things that none of us could predict, that the medical field couldn't predict. So rather than wait for something to happen, we're trying to take a proactive stance and make sure that she's safe and secure.
Randy?
Thank you. Captain Randy K with CNN. Can I just ask you about Post-it notes? Can you tell us anything about the Post-it notes that might have been found in the jail cell or along the route, and can they offer any clues as to where the killers are?
I have seen articles concerning a Post-it note. I will verify that one was found. I'm not going to speculate on the significance or the meaning behind it.
Can you say how many were found?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Wiley, we know that Joyce Mitchell's husband Lyle was talking to police this morning. Can you tell us whether he is a subject of an investigation and whether he may have known about this escape ahead of time and the plot to kill him?
We have not had the law enforcement officials that are here today, right now, have not spoken with the investigators that are interviewing or have interviewed Lyle Mitchell. As far as of today, we had no information whatsoever that he had prior knowledge of the escape, or that he participated or actively assisted in the escape of the two inmates. So that's my response to you on relative to that.
Prior knowledge, would that be a crime?
If he had prior knowledge and he assisted in any manner, then he could be obviously facing a facilitation charge.
Mr. Wiley, what about that alleged murder for hire report? What can you tell us about that?
What I can tell you is that the reports of that it was discussed between Joyce Mitchell and the two escapees. The information we have from Joyce Mitchell is that occurred, that plot had occurred. And that's all I'll speak of that, because we don't want to get into the relative issues of it on the investigation.
Captain, can you walk us through where else in the country, where outside this area the investigation has taken folks with state police, but also federal law enforcement? What states, what countries?
No, I can't. And the reason for that's quite simple. We all know from past experience that these people watch the news and they listen. We're not going to tip our hand as to where we're looking. I can tell you right now, we are embedded with the FBI, the U.S. Marshals Service, and other federal agencies. We will go wherever we are needed, whether we send teams of state police investigators wherever the lead may be, or we rely upon our federal partners or other law enforcement throughout the country or throughout other countries. We will do that. I can tell you that the U.S. Marshals Service is working along the Mexican border, ensuring that the border is well aware of these escapees and the past history associated with that. The flyers are being distributed by the Marshals Service. We're reaching out to our partners to assist us in that. But to give you specific locations, no, it wouldn't be appropriate. I'm sure you all understand the reasoning behind that.
We're going to wrap this up right now, and we want to thank you for being here. Obviously, I'll be available to speak with you in more detail on other issues at a later time. But right now, we appreciate you being here, and we're going to close all the questions. Thank you. That's theirs.
Just going to pick one I like.